You're sure?
Yes.
All right, dude. I believe in you, Drew. All right, we're ready to start whenever you are, Daddy. Let's go. Welcome to another Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap while dads do their damnedest to drain deadbeats off their driveways. Uncle Gary started to pave his own driveway one time and accidentally concreted his Coors Light to the ground episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Grimm.
God, I'm sweaty, dude. I'm already hot. That little dance jig I was cutting?
Yeah.
I
didn't know if you were sweaty from putting on the Oculus and being back in Afghan or what.
Stacked a couple bodies.
Yeah, like right before the show.
Right before we, yeah. I swear. Pretty wild. What's the name of that game again?
Onward.
Are we allowed to even say that?
Yeah.
Can you?
Sure.
It's just like talking about like Call of Duty or something,
I would
right?
assume so.
It's not like a social media platform or anything? Okay.
No.
I don't know how this thing works.
But rad for ex-military perspective.
Yeah. Could you see my erection? I couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
Was I hard?
Yeah.
I felt
I was worried for you when you laid prone. I was like, that's gotta hurt.
That's gonna hurt the stiff. It's not that big. No, but it was really, really neat. Really cool that you can your character moves with you. So like you take a knee, your character takes a knee. You like get in the prone, he gets in the prone.
Or like changing out the gun magazine.
Changing out the magazine. All the actions work the way they should. Like it's short of the handgun. The handgun pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because when you like expand a magazine, it kicks out, the slide locks back. So
it does originally, but I think that one time you like clicked it forward or something. Like you did something maybe.
Oh, you know what? You might be right. If you don't have a magazine in and then the slides forward and then you slide it back, does it lock back?
No, I don't think
so. You're right. Okay. So it's wildly accurate. Yeah. It's pretty accurate. I really, really enjoyed it. And then I saw you talking shit to like some 3-year-olds. And
I was going over the team game plan and
Yeah, can you elaborate on that? What you drew a circle around a bush and then a circle around
a building, and then I drew a big circle up, and then I drew a line out the top of where we were going. Basically made a dig.
Big old floppy.
Yeah, nice big one.
How long have you been on that game now?
Couple days. Pretty rad though.
Pretty tight.
Yeah,
pretty tight. I'm gonna pour some bourbon. Will you do me a favor and
hit him with that intro?
You know what to do.
Joining us this week in the Days Grimm studio is a good friend of mine, CALEB TEDFORD. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Great, man. I didn't know he had friends.
Yeah, man.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I thought that was haram.
No.
I thought you were only allowed to have. I thought you were only allowed to have enemies.
No.
No, you get to thinking about it. I mean, it's like it's been 8 years, 6 years.
Yeah, you've had a child.
At least.
You've had a child since you guys saw each other last, right?
2, I think.
No, Oliver was already around.
Yeah.
Well, glad we're dropping his kids' names without asking. No, I'm just
yeah.
But why don't you give the people like a soft elevator pitch as to like who you are and what you do?
Nothing really. I mean, I was kind of surprised that years ago you were like, hey, you want to hop on the podcast? I'm like, for what? Like, I have nothing to offer. You're like, I don't know, just hang out with the bros. I'm like, all right. So I know I grew up in Posey County. I mean, I live in Posey County still.
You don't have to say the main place you work for, but like, what do you do there?
Just run heavy equipment. I just like running equipment, man. It's like a kid in the sandbox. You know what I mean?
So what's your common heavy equipment you're operating? Is it like a skid steer? Is it like a front
skid
loader?
Steers, backhoes, dozers, loaders. No, no cranes. No cranes.
Do you do like big old piles of shit with your front end loaders?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, so I worked at ADM for a while. I can say that because fuck that place.
Fuck most places.
Dude, I swear to God, they fucking tried to cut my leg off. But anyways, at any rate, I used to operate their front end loader. And they would have me, when I was training, drive up those big mounds of grain, or lime is what it was. Yep. And you would have a load in the bucket, and you'd have to drive up the top of this huge-ass pile that's like 200 feet tall. Dude, dicey.
It's dicey. It can get dicey. I've done some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
They literally drive up, and then they just have to and then they restack the mound that way. It's intense.
And then in just the last couple months, you've started your own business?
Yeah. So actually, I mean, we've been doing it for a couple of years. Yeah, doing it for a couple of years, but this is our first year that's like official. So that comes with like a lot of challenges. I have no idea what I'm doing half the time. You know what I mean? And then you just go through and figure it out.
I don't think that there's any like good guide for like starting a business though.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of like shooting from the hip, figure it out.
I took a careers class in high school thinking like it's going to be a semester long aptitude test, you know, like it'll help me guide me in life where I want to be. Yeah. All we did was fill out applications for like Subway and Pizza Hut. And I'm like, I'm already doing that. Like it was awful. Awful. I hate our education.
And then also homestead dreams.
Oh my God, dude. I mean, know where your food's coming from. Like what more freedom could you have than knowing what you're putting in your body?
I don't know what that means.
Like knowing where your food's coming from?
Or homestead.
I don't know what either
being
of those.
Like self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Like farming and living off of
chickens.
Your own land.
You got your own chickens, or you have a cow in your front yard.
Goats.
Fun fact, I found this out the other day. Chickens just lay eggs.
Yeah. There's different chickens for
females. Also, all females lay eggs.
They just lay them.
Yeah.
Oh no! I like how you guys are just breezing right over this, like it's not a big fucking deal or anything.
Brian's like, "Oh my God, they don't have to get fucked."
Somebody told me the other day that my wife told me the other day, she was like, they just lay eggs like all the time, 2 a day or something. I was like, no. No. I was like, unless you got a cock up in there. No, dude, that's not how it works, bro. And she was like, no, they just lay eggs. And she said, and I quote, for fun. Like, they just lay eggs. I didn't know that. And I hope somebody at home's listening to this and they're like, fuck, I didn't know that either. I felt really dumb when I found that out.
I hope so for your case, yeah.
It's a lot of chicken sex if you think about it.
2 episodes ago, a friend of mine came in. We served in Afghanistan together, Justin Vrieslar. And we just talked about the deployment and how his side of the story was and all that stuff. But we really emphasized my stupidity throughout the duration of that entire interview. So just to let you know what you're getting into.
That's exciting.
Fucking jacks.
Yeah, I would say before we get too carried away and like...
Have you seen any of the episodes before?
Yeah.
You have seen a couple?
Yeah.
So you're familiar with...
the concept, yeah.
Well, the death of the week, though. Shut up, lady. Siri's talking to me. Have you ever seen the death of the week?
I have seen it, and I just read this one, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
This is a rough one, dude.
It's rough.
This is a rough one, my guy. Drew, go ahead and do the honors.
The death of the week.
This week's Death of the Week brought to you by Corn Dog Development. Link to his Etsy store is in the description, guys. Promo code Days Grimm saves you 10% on all his shit. Check it out. Click on something, buy something. Also, go to thedaysgrimm.com. Get you a super sick mug. Get you some, T-shirts. There's all kinds of cool shit on there. Moving forward, this week's Death of the Week. An 18-year-old construction worker has been on the job for about 3 months when he was pulled into a hot asphalt silo in Oklahoma City, officials say. He died from related injuries. The fatal incident on November 2nd prompted the Occupational Safety and Health Administration to open an inspection at T.J. Campbell Construction Company. Do we beep that? Let it ride. According to a May 4 news release from the U.S. Department of Labor, now about 6 months later, the Oklahoma-based company is facing a $370,347 penalty charge. Federal authorities say T.J. Campbell Construction Company's failure to prevent sudden startup of a conveyor system contributed to the man's death as he tried removing debris from the conveyor. The Edmond-based company did not comment for the McClatchy News on May 4th. Or they did, and they said, quote, a young worker was barely 3 months on the job when his life was tragically cut short, end quote, said OSHA area director Stephen Kirby. This article is slightly confusing. In a news release, quote, had TJ Campbell Construction Company provided their workers with the required training on controlling hazardous energy and ensuring proper shutdown before any attempt to remove debris was made, this young man would have ended his workday safely. OSHA issued willful citations against the company, saying it failed to, quote, develop and use procedures for controlling hazardous energy when servicing or cleaning the asphalt conveyor system, end quote. The company also did not adequately train its workers on the requirements for controlling hazardous energy, according to the news release. Let's talk lotto, folks. Who wants to talk a little bit about some lockout tagout, guys? What the fuck are they doing here, dude?
3 months on the job.
TJ and company, or whatever the hell you're called. What are we doing, folks?
But yeah, I feel like lockouts are huge.
Everywhere you work.
Everywhere, yeah. Or at least around here.
You've been doing it. I mean, you've done it before, right?
Yeah, lockout tagout.
Not in fucking Oklahoma, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
You know what lotto is?
No, I was just thinking, what the fuck is lockout tagout?
Lockout tagout, or lotto abbreviated, is essentially the hazardous energy they're talking about. If you've ever worked in any kind of manufacturing or production place whatsoever, it's when you have to work on a piece of machinery that typically can harm you.
In any facet.
Well, in any facet, really. Anytime you're working on anything, you go to the direct power source for that machine and you shut it off.
And it's like inside a box.
Yeah.
And then each person that's like working on it, so like if us three were working on it, we would each put a lock on it with our own key.
Like a padlock.
And then that way, like nobody can turn the power on unless us three have like unlocked our lock.
Never seen this before? Or you don't know what we're talking about?
I mean, it makes sense. I didn't know that was a thing.
Conceptually, you get it, though.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing here?
Imagine someone putting a price on your death.
Right.
Like, all right, this 18-year-old kid died. We're going to give you $370,000. What was it?
No, that was just the penalty.
$347, not $348. $347.
Right. And Uncle Sam's taking, his percentage
Yeah.
of it off your life.
It's for sure getting taxed.
Right.
God damn, that's dark, dude. And not to mention, he went into a hot asphalt silo. Fuck.
They should at least have like maybe feather confetti, afterwards.
He died from related injuries. I'd say so.
God damn. All right.
Hot one.
Yeah, that's a hot take. That's this week's Death of the Week, brought to you by Corndog Development and thedaysgrimm.com. Wow. You ever worked with asphalt before?
No, just concrete.
Yeah. Asphalt.
I heard it's not much fun. I've driven by it and it smells like shit. So
it's a sticky bitch, literally.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming they make it similar to, I think the ingredients to make asphalt are pretty similar to the ingredients they use for shingles for your roof. And it's nasty shit, dude. It is nasty shit. They have to get it really hot.
So, Caleb, growing up in Poseyville, what's the country life like growing up?
Posey County, not quite Poseyville. But man, it was awesome. We had like 2 acres, all fenced in. We had a lake. It was one of those kind of childhoods to where you could just like, I think I'm going to go fishing today. And like you grab your tackle box and I could go out for hours doing that kind of stuff, running through the fields. With my pellet gun, BB gun.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Just
you talk
fucking
about
up farm
childhood.
cats.
Fuck. No, just spying on the farmer and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like being some spec op sniper as like a 10-year-old kid. Oh, God.
I did that same shit. I actually
best kind of childhood.
I grew up in Posey County.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up at?
Ford Road, Nation Road.
Yeah, I grew up on
area.
Nation Road.
Yeah. Did you really?
I swear to God, right next to Ritzert's.
Dude, that subdivision?
I'm that house right next to Ritzert's.
All right, you know those...
Before you get into the subdivision.
You know Davis Road?
Yeah.
And there's those trailers a little bit
what
further
are the
back.
fucking odds?
Dude, what are the odds? I love when this happens.
Dude. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
So you know those trailers right there by Davis Road? Those like real shitty trailers.
God, you grew up in a trailer?
No.
Oh, fuck.
No.
I was going to have a whole lot more respect
No,
for
I
you.
grew up in that nice house across the road. But we lived in those trailers. Bro, we lived in those trailers for like 2 months while we built our house. You talk about a shithole.
If I'm being honest with you, so I moved to that house when I was 11. Before that, I lived in a shittier house on the west side of Evansville. And before that, trailer.
Trailer, really? So you're a
guessed
trailer
it.
park kid too?
Trash. Trailer trash.
I lived in the fancy house across the street so we could fucking look down on
Yes.
the peasants.
The fucking.
But I lived there for like 2 months, so I could relate. You
Right.
know,
You had your trailer patch kid.
Bro, I
did.
remember that's where I was at on September 11th.
Really?
I remember September 11th. I was riding my bike.
How old were you? I'm just
First grade. I was born in 94.
So I'm 4 years older than you. I was born in
Okay.
90. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I remember it was like that day, and it was a beautiful
crazy.
day. I was riding my bike, and my
You
parents
were
were
in
like,
school?
Dude, I've talked to people I went with, and they were like, I remember our teacher like shut
Yeah,
down
I was in
class, turned on the
school.
TV and started crying. And I was like, all I remember is riding my bike, putting my feet on the handlebars, and just like chilling. And it's like, that was my existence, man. I mean,
okay.
that's,
You guys are about the same age, right?
yeah.
So Thomas, you were in school and your teacher turned on the TV and
Yeah.
watched.
Oh, dude,
Fuck
yeah.
What
yeah.
a fucking wild thing to do in a class full of like 4-year-olds.
First graders. You know?
4-year-olds.
Why would you do that?
Oh, dude, no, man.
You didn't hear the stories? I drew like the Twin Towers on the top of every school paper with planes going into them. So much so that they like sent me to therapy
Dude, what? Like,
Sick, dude.
in first grade. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I was in 6th grade.
I
when
don't
it
remember
happened.
seeing like the actual plane crash. I don't even remember my teacher turning it on.
I think they sent students home across the board because they were in fear for a nationwide attack. So as security protocol, they sent all students home. They just shut schools down.
What high school did you go to?
Right.
Did you play sports?
Yeah. So I played basketball until like the last week of my freshman year.
Nice.
Yeah, I did that. Played lacrosse my sophomore, junior year, and then got diagnosed with like the arthritis stuff. So my senior year, I was like a vegetable for the most part.
Can I just want to flash back to the childhood home real quick because he may have insight on a story that I've told on this
Oh,
podcast before.
Jesus, probably, man.
Yeah, on Nation,
I've ventured that way.
on Nation Road, if you're headed east and you're passing Ritzert's on your left,
Yeah.
the next road up ahead is a really narrow gravel road. I think it's now since been paved for this reason. But it's a narrow gravel road that you can turn left or right on. And that's actually where my school bus got into a really bad accident with a UPS truck. Do you happen to recall this by any chance?
No. Are you? Because I went to the Catholic school. I went to St. Philip's
Oh, you fuck.
growing up, so I wasn't like you
Fucking rich
Mount
kids.
Vernon kids that their bus drivers are getting in wrecks and whatnot,
Drinking on the job.
drinking on the job.
Still
Like,
up.
come on, you little shits. We're running late.
But yeah, I wrecked right
Was that
by
like
his
on
house.
Caburn Road, or
No, because
What- so it was-
Caburn is west of where our bus wrecked. It's
so
the
you're
next-
talking Davis? I remember hearing about a Davis.
Yeah, it was on Davis Road.
a Davis
Yeah.
Davis Road bus wreck.
Yeah, I was
got
on
ran
that
off
bus.
the road. Yeah,
Mama Stone is our bus driver. That's what we called her. She almost died, dude.
during that,
Yeah, it was bad, bro. We wound up in a cornfield.
did one of you guys like
One
were
of
you
us
one of
die?
those heroic kids that you see videos of, like jumping in at the last
No, I
second
lost
to
a
save
goddamn
the whole?
flip flop, dude. I was fucking pissed.
Well,
Dude, we're working on this Vietnam project. And
Project Nam.
yeah,
that's I've named all the project folders Project Nam.
Jesus
And,
Christ.
in it, like, so we're having to like look up these 280 people and like find
227.
look 272.
227.
Oh, but we're like going through and like I'm looking at pictures and stuff of these people and like trying to make sure it's the right person and shit. There's this guy I read, like some of their pictures have like news articles attached to them and stuff, and I'm like reading a few of them. There's this guy that was like 20 and a grenade like got tossed in his bunker and he like grabbed it, held it to his chest and like went to go run it out of the thing and like exploded at the door. But he was like 20 years old. Everybody else lived.
Was he the Medal of Honor recipient?
Maybe, yeah. There was like an article about it.
Were you prepared to do that at any point when you went in and served? Were you like, am I ever gonna? You're like, am I ever gonna be in that position? Am I gonna have the balls to do that?
It's funny you ask, and I think no. And I think the common answer should and probably would be no, because when you see somebody throw a grenade at you, when you see it happening, your only thought is run the fuck away.
But do you think you can run like 15 meter?
Oh yeah, I ran to the closest building and just like the closest corner and just like tucked around. And it was so funny. I don't know if I've told the full story, but I like run away from this said grenade and I make it around this building where some of my guys are pulling security. And I'm like panting, heavily breathing. I've got a
I
machine
think you
gun.
said you didn't even hear it go off.
I don't remember it going off. And it's like 10 feet away from me on the other side of this fucking building the size of my house. And I'm like breathing heavy, machine gun dangling around my neck. I'm like bleeding because I hit my head or something. And all I could say was grenade. I didn't even yell it. Like the guy that I pulled up next to, I forget who it was, but he was like, yeah. It went off. And then you came up to me and said grenade. And the only other time a grenade had gone off that I was close to, it was the most war movie shit I ever remember because it was Sergeant Hart, who we talked about, and one went off near him in a field. But before it went off, I'm like a ways away from him, and he just yelled, "Grenade!" like a fucking war movie. And then you just heard a go, like wild shit. But yeah, to answer your question, fucking probably goddamn not.
God damn.
I didn't that day.
Yeah, apparently
I
you'd be
fucking
the only
ran.
one.
Dude, it was just me and one other guy. If there was like a room of us and it's in a room, that's a different story. We're probably all dying though.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rough shit.
I
dude.
mean, I lost a whole battalion to that, squad.
Yeah,
And
dude.
Onward.
In Onward,
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
When I tossed a grenade in our building, our whole squad got wiped. Game over.
You know, you should consider sending flowers to their families.
Right.
Just looking out for you.
Right.
It's the only decent thing to do.
Right. Get several of those bracelets.
Yeah, you just have them like up to your elbow. It's for my boys. Never made it home. What? I don't want to talk about it.
Right. Dude, this game makes you feel like you're there, dog. Like, I've done 3 tours.
Yeah, it's
3 tours.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Thank you for your
I got 1
service.
Purple Heart. Thank you.
1 Purple Heart and
Yeah.
3 tours.
My
God
team,
damn,
my
you're
team
lucky.
revived me and dragged me out.
Yeah, dude. He was in a bad gunfight.
Brian watched one of them.
Dark
Terrible.
times.
Well,
Dark
thank
times.
So, so like, what's it like senior year when you find out that you got arthritis real bad?
Oh, dude, it
It's
was
like most
awful.
people, most young kids don't necessarily.
Yeah, man.
experience
So
it.
it was dumb. It really sucked. It was not fun
You had
at
to like
all.
change up your diet and everything.
So like that didn't come for a couple years later. So I was just dealing with this. So like I played lacrosse. I was an athletic kid, right? I mean, I was like a gazelle. That's how I viewed myself. I could like run forever.
Were you always tall?
Always tall, always pretty lengthy. I mean, I lived in the country, so like I'd run a mile to my friend's house. The faster I could run that mile, the faster we could play Call of Duty or whatever we were doing for that day. So it's like just naturally running around, country life, stuff like that. And I woke up one day and like my finger joint, I thought I broke my finger in my sleep. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like it just hurts so bad to move. Long story short, I was doing the delayed entry program with the Marine Corps. So like
I don't
was
know what
like,
that means.
the delayed entry program, I think the Navy does it too, but it's like
you
high
like sign
school
up your junior
kids.
year, and then when you graduate your senior year, you go right to boot camp.
You do all the PT twice a week kind of thing. You work on your knowledge, get you ready for boot camp so you're not a complete shithead, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just make sure you're not getting into trouble at school. That's kind of like, this is the path I'm doing after high school.
Damn, that's exciting. I know. So, yeah, I think they do something like that for the Army if you're, like, not 18.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Similar.
Similar to that. You had to do, like, 5 push-ups or something.
So that goes out the window basically as soon as you get this
Dude, yeah.
diagnosis.
So, like, from a kid, I was into the war movies and stuff like that. I was like, this is what I want to do for sure,
Yeah.
So, I remember sitting in the auditorium at Wrights, and they're going like, guys, college. And I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to military, this, that. And, yeah, so that felt like it got the rug drug out from my feet, that kind of stuff. So that sucked for a long time.
And then around that time we meet.
Yeah, because like I fell into this dark hole of being 19,
That's where everybody meets me.
depressed. I'm working at Home Depot.
Listening to a lot of Pink Floyd.
Not quite
Everybody's
yet.
like, yeah,
not quite
I
yet.
met Thomas at like a low point in my life.
Dude, yes. It was the
It
show
only
me's
gets
days.
a little lower from there.
It was the show me's days. You're like, who's this Thomas dude? And he'd always show up and just be like,
Shout
gone.
out.
Yeah, meeting
Shout out to-
Thomas is like your
Dude.
Dude, I was a
signifier
wild
of
card.
hitting
Drew.
rock bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's...
I was a wild card. If you had hit rock bottom, you were in my friend group.
Yeah,
What does that say about you, though?
I'm a cornerstone, bro.
a cornerstone.
When you got to rebuild that foundation.
He's part of your 12-step program. You have to meet him at some point.
God, dude, you have to shake his hand and fucking go to the river with him.
Man.
I think
You got
everybody...
any wild stories from that day you can think of?
What day? Meeting you?
Yeah, I really don't remember too much from those times.
No, man. I mean, we were like 19 years old, and like all the show me's waitresses would serve us alcohol. I mean,
Yeah, I
dude,
had a
it was
fake
like a
ID.
wild time. I didn't have a fake ID. I'd show my ID, and they'd look at me, and I'd just say, "I'm cool if you're cool."
I would give the cook like some illegal substance.
You talking about that dude that looked like he was drunk 24/7?
Yeah, he was. But he would come and he would unlock the pool table for me, and so I would play pool for free all night.
That's what's up. I like a nice game of
Wild
pool.
times, dude.
I like shaking my stick around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you any good still?
I'd probably be all right.
You play any
I
pool?
wouldn't say I'm like.
I never
great.
got into it. I mean, I'd play at the bars and stuff. I mean, we'd played several times, but like there was always those people that took it way too serious. Like that's not 88 rules or whatever they called it. And
Oh,
it's like,
that guy's name is Cole Simpson.
yes, he was one of them. He
Yeah,
was one
Cole
of them,
was
dude.
around all the time when we were.
Is he still playing a lot?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
dude,
still in the
he's-
league.
Dude, I can imagine he's
Still in the
like
pool league.
I watched
good
him
at this
almost
point.
get stabbed at
Like with a pool stick?
at Chasers. Were you there that night?
No, you told us about it.
Yeah. I watched him almost get stabbed. This guy came up to him and they were like talking shit, and he was like, I'll play you and I'll beat you to Cole. And Cole was like, he just laughed. He was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, I'm really good. And then the guy was like, Cole said, let's play for a Benjamin or whatever. Let's play for Hunter.
Of course
just
he
real
did.
quick.
Cole's always been that guy.
Just let's play a friendly $100 game. And the guy was like, I don't play for anything less than 2 stack.
Of course.
The guy just talking shit.
This is like a
And
movie.
Cole was like,
Yeah.
all right, let's do it. Let's run it.
He literally went to Chase downstairs. He had to hunt Chase down. He was like, I don't have 2K on me, but if you can give me 2K, I'm going to wipe this dude's ass real quick, and then I'm going to give you your 2K back, and then some.
God.
Yeah. And literally Cole was like, or Chase was going to get the money, and then Cole came back, and he was like, I got 2K on the way, and the guy was like, no, I'm just fucking with you. But it was like this big, long thing.
Pussy. Pussy.
I think he was a nice guy, though, to be fair.
No.
I think
But
the guy was
those
nice.
were wild days, man. Like partying back at Bruce's old big mansion.
I
and
never.
stuff.
I've only been to Bruce's like one time with Elliot, and
Who's
he had that
Bruce?
like 84-inch TV, and I was like, "What is this, dude? This is your living room." He's like, "Fuck it, bro."
Who's Bruce?
A buddy of mine. It was fun times. He had like a mansion that his parents left him, and we just frat boyed it.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've only seen his like apartment, and he had that huge.
yeah.
The whole room was the TV.
Yeah, no,
It was insane, bro. It was insane.
He's got like his parents before that they moved away, and they left him like this 3-story house that was just like
I'm still waiting.
it
on
was
mine.
down like a 2-mile long gravel driveway. Cops were never showing up. Like I'm talking about.
Speaking of people being handed stuff, I'm like, now stop me if this is fucked up, and I'll just quit halfway through this story if you want me to. But I'm waiting for my parents to die really soon. So honestly, like if they could just go ahead and give me some of their cool shit that they have, that would be fucking sick,
Yeah.
bro.
Could you talk about your parents' death of the week? If it
depends-
was tragic,
yeah,
you could talk
Well,
about it.
if it was legit,
If it was cool,
yeah. Like if my dad got struck by lightning while masturbating in a fucking RV or something, like that would be fucking hot.
yeah, I'd
be
salute
rad.
to that.
yeah.
So after high school, what's up? What happens?
Yeah, man. So I worked at the movie theater, worked at that movie theater, and then I upgraded from there to Home Depot, man. That was like, had to be 18 to work there. I'm like, all right, this is a big boy job. You know what I mean? Like,
Hell
fucking
yeah.
Home Depot. Fuck Home Depot. But
Yeah,
Yeah, man,
we go
just-
to Lowe's. Lowe's
more-
got the good shit.
More of a Lowe's guy.
I think I need to switch. Every time Home Depot, like, they make eye contact and they run. You know what I mean? Like,
I
you're
know
like,
what you're
dude, I
talking
need
about.
help. Like, just tell me where these are.
I don't do drywall, dude. Just fucking tell me where the screws are.
Yeah.
Fuck. You know what I mean? That shit's annoying, dude. And you need them, and they
It was
like
awful.
some old dusty dude, and he just waddles
And
off.
then it doesn't help that you're working with people that this is like their pinnacle moment. You know, they're taking it like super serious. And you're
Right.
just like,
They're like,
this is
dude,
so
I'm
gay.
stock manager, bro.
Yeah.
You see these 4 aisles?
Like
they don't get
assistant.
stocked without me.
Yeah.
Assistant to the regional manager kind of thing. Yeah.
You put those goddamn power tools alphabetical order.
Awful.
And
You
so,
hear
like,
me?
you're doing side jobs outside of Home Depot, right? Because I feel like you've
No.
always kind of done handy stuff on the side.
I guess I have. That's when I met Jack. Good old Jack.
Yeah,
I feel like
so
he's like
I guess shout out to Jack, by the way.
Shout
Dude,
out to
Jack
Jack
is a
Duff.
badass.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
No, I guess
Jack Duff.
describe Jack for Brian.
all right, man. So like, I don't know how you even
This
would.
this
I don't know
this
how you would
badass
start.
like guy basically that had like
He's done anything and everything, and he's done it better than you.
Jack is literally a jack of all trades.
He's a jack of all trades, but a master of them all.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
So
And
he
lives
claims.
and he lives in Caleb's garage.
He used to. No, he moved out.
Oh, he did?
Bro, oh my God, over a year ago.
Really?
Yeah, he lived in my garage. So I moved in my house in like October of 2018. He moved in December of 2018. I only lived in my house for like 3 months before I had a hermit, if you will,
He
living in my garage.
commandeered your.
My garage.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any like?
He had like a room built and then he would work
Oh,
on
yeah.
cars on the side, like in the garage.
Was there any like permeability though, as far as
I guess
like,
we need to explain. He's not just some guy I met at O'Reilly's.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you need a garage? Like, for sure, dude.
you didn't find him under a bridge or anything?
No, I probably could have at some point, but
Sucking.
no.
Whoa. I don't think Jack would ever suck dick.
I think Jack would kill you. Jack would kill you before you made him suck your dick.
Right.
He would find a way. No, he's a good dude. He's a really good dude. He's helped me out a lot. It's definitely been one of those like father-son kind of relationships where it's like,
Who's dad and who's son?
I think we kind of alternate. It's kind of what we identify as
That's
that
kind-
day, you know. But
that's
yeah,
odd.
man, I mean, he helped me out a lot. And then it finally was like, dude, it's been 3 years. Like, it's time for me to kind of take my family. Like, we're growing as a family. It's a super small house, super old house. It's like a 200-year-old church.
Yeah, it used to be a church and has like a cemetery in the backyard.
Cemetery in the backyard. A lot of
Nice.
kids.
A lot of dead
lot
people.
of kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of dead kids. Kids in
Most
the
of
graveyard.
them. Yeah. And so, like, my wife had looked it up and done some research. It was a lot of scarlet fever, like that old stuff, like Oregon Trail type shit. It was 1800s.
Fucking dysentery.
Cholera. Yeah, like 1830. It was a church. Did you ever see any like lights flicker? Did you ever see any
Not
haunted
necessarily,
type
but,
stuff?
No, not really. But
I do. Well, just real quick, talking about Jack that would never suck dick. That reminded me of this funny bit that I wanted to bring up to you on air on purpose. So speaking of sucking dick, I got this funny bit idea. So the funny bit idea is basically two dudes are talking, and it's like, who's the most progressive, right? But it would be funnier if they were both dressed in like cowboy outfits, like ultra conservative, maybe a grunt style
like
T-shirt.
rolling a cigarette with like,
But
some
like gay
paper.
chicken?
Yeah, kind of. But anyways,
Yeah.
but they're
I'm
arguing.
so accepting. I'd suck a dick.
They're arguing over who's the most progressive, right? And so the one guy says, "Yeah, you would never even look at a dick," and then he'd be like, "Would I look at one? I'd suck a dick." You know what I mean? And then they start talking about, well, how much money would it take you to suck a dick? And one guy's like, "Well, I'll do it for $200." And then the other guy, this is like the ultimate punchline where the other guy's like, "I'd pay the guy to suck his dick."
Yeah,
And you find a way to make that funny somehow. Just
Yeah.
take that with you.
yeah.
All
For
right.
sure. We'll save that for like when we have that episode where there's like three comedians and we riff off each other. the
Oh,
whole time.
100%. Yeah. I love a good dick sucking joke, though. But anyway, so shout out to Jack. So what happens after Jack moves into the garage?
Oh man, what didn't happen? You know, I mean, so he
shit.
was like, so he'd be, yeah, I'm bringing in this 2007 Duramax. I'm gonna do this job on. I'm like, all right, man, cool. Like
Like
he's
those
paying me
tricycles he
rent,
made.
huh?
Those tricycles he worked on and made.
Bro, there was this guy. I come home and it's like 21 feet long. Captain America everywhere. Captain
America shield, Captain
Corvette
America
engine,
mask.
Corvette engine, and it's a giant tricycle. Had
like
like
a
drag
trike.
slicks on it. Yeah, but it was like 21 feet long,
It was custom fabbed. The
custom
whole thing.
fabbed, whole thing, Corvette engine. You drove it like a car, had a gas pedal like a car, but it had handlebars.
Isn't there some sort of like federal regulation
Yeah,
that
you have to have a sheriff come out and inspect it.
keeps you from putting that on the road? Like the frame has to meet certain
Yeah, I'd say
specs.
so. I'd hope so. I mean, can you imagine seeing someone just like,
I was
Go
hoping
down
you
the
would know the
highway.
answer for
Normally,
No.
you have to have a sheriff come out and do an inspection. Just like if you buy a car from Kentucky or whatever, and you go to get it plated in Indiana, you're supposed to call the sheriff out to do a
really?
vehicle inspection.
You know why
I've
they
never
do
done
that?
that.
Why?
They do that because in Kentucky you can make a trailer out of fucking 2x4s and not
Yeah,
even
man.
register it, not even put a plate on it. It doesn't even have to have two wheels. You can just drag a fucking wooden box behind your
Dude.
car. We were talking to somebody about that.
So when do you think you got like homestead dreams? Like first got that.
So yeah, so like with the arthritis and stuff, back to that. So that was kind of something that held me back so bad. And then my mom reads this book called The Grain Brain, and that's kind of got me into the whole diet side of things, you know.
and that's where like people are like gluten free.
Kind of. So it was actually talking about how like these low fat diets are bad for you because your brain is like nothing but a giant fat, you know, cap or whatever.
It's a fat vat.
Yeah, pretty much. And so it's like watch it was celiac disease, you know, like gluten insensitivity.
Like the tree?
What?
Isn't celiac a tree?
Celiac?
I don't know.
Like sycamore?
It's a plant.
I've only
though.
ever heard it in reference to the disease, so.
But yeah,
Tell me it's a
the
tree, Drew.
celiac, it cures celiac
Is
disease.
celiac a plant? Is celiac a plant? Celiac a plant? Celiac is a plant.
I think you just got lucky, though.
Nope, I've heard it in reference to a plant before. I'm surprised Thomas doesn't know this.
I wonder if it's gluten free.
No, surely not. Yeah, I've seen those. Those are the
Well, this is sorghum. It's
Yeah.
just, it's a gluten-free grain.
oh, it's celiac safe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So celiac is what's inside of the plant. Okay. So I am incorrect.
So basically, your mom
Interesting.
tells you about this book she read.
Yeah,
about-
and it pretty much talks about how celiac disease is a commonly misdiagnosed, you know, for autoimmune stuff, and that's what I've got. And so come to find out, drinking beer, barley malt, stuff like that, you know, and they use it as like a preservative. That's like my number one nemesis. So it causes my joints to swell up. and all that stuff, and I can't really move. Like I'm actually struggling today because I had like a sandwich.
I saw you eyeballing my Bush Lights down here. You got something against Bush Light?
Dude, it would kill me.
Really?
I would not be able to move.
What
for
about
days.
bourbon?
So bourbon, I can have bourbon.
Can you?
Yes. So that was a long time coming.
So that's when you start like looking into diet and like cleaner foods and stuff.
Yeah, trying to understand, like, you know, you trust that the government would trust in the government in the same sentence is kind of hard, but you know, you go to Walmart and you pick up chicken and stuff like that. You go home and you're like, well, I'm eating chicken. Well, you look at the quality of that chicken and you're just like, dude, this is like pumped full of saline so they can get more money per pound kind of thing.
Right, dude. They have halal chicken.
What is that? Like your
It's chicken
Islamic?
that's like prayed over, like when it's slaughtered.
over?
Yeah, so like some of these people when they slaughter goats, they'll like you can actually look this video up honestly because they're like do like halal butchering or something like that. So they take these goats and they like take the ears and the goat's kind of struggling and they put it over the eye.
Oh,
and
just
and then they say a prayer and the goat just like gets calm as fuck and like basically lets you slice. So
I don't think we can show that.
Yeah, I don't think you can show
well,
cutting of
it's on
major blood
YouTube, so
vessels.
but yeah, like you don't have to actually show the like actual thing, but like the prep for it.
Jesus.
But they do it for like chickens, goats, and like all their meat, kind of like how have kosher.
Yeah.
It's got to be halal.
We actually just butchered like 23 chickens for the first time.
And you
That
could have
was
made an extra
wild.
$2 per chicken if you prayed this prayer over it, dog.
No, I'm not selling it. I mean, we ate them.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's
we're
how I
running
guess the
through them.
homestead goals is.
Yeah. So like we raised them. We went to Rural King, bought these little chicks, and 8 weeks later we killed them.
You gotta tell them about your son. Love the chickens.
What? So hold on, real quick. I don't think I understand the homestead. What'd you call it? The Homestead Act.
It's like homestead
No.
dreams is like what a lot of people
just like
have.
it's the idea of knowing where your food's coming from. You would have chickens and pigs.
Okay, but it's not like a
it's
company or something.
No,
It's basically you buy land and you grow and make everything you need.
You have like a small tractor. You're not trying to like get rich being a farmer,
You're
but
just trying
like
to self-sustain on your land.
self-sustainment. Yeah, that's
Okay, that is interesting. Characterized by subsistence.
you could have a huge garden and like know that there's no pesticides, no herbicides, no of that.
We were just talking about, we looked it up on one of our episodes about deer meat and how much better it is for you than anything you can buy in the store because that deer is just eating, you know, grain or grass or whatever, and then you kill that thing and then you just eat it. It does get processed in the fashion of which some dude that you're paying is going to chop it up and like put it together for you, but it's not like processed in the same fashion as like these beef cattle are that you're like buying.
Antibiotics
Yeah,
and all
all
that
the
good stuff.
antibiotics.
Yeah,
It's
man.
just natural.
Yeah,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
not like anti-vax by any means or anything like that, you know, but it's definitely one of those things. Like,
Thomas
what are we
is.
getting? Are you really?
Yeah, he didn't get the COVID shot because he's a.
Well,
And I got charged $900 for not being vaccinated at work.
Your work charged you.
$18 a
We have-
paycheck for the last year and a half.
One thing.
Are you going to pay it?
No,
All right, fuck them.
they took it automatically. From
It's
my
already
paychecks.
gone. Yeah, it's already taken out.
They just
Bunch of
lifted the
suckers.
policy last week. Didn't
The,
go to the doctor at all in the year and a half or
Bunch
anything like that.
Suckers,
The
dude.
one thing that this show that we do a really good job of, I think, is that we like to have fun and get people drunk. Which, by the way, if you want some bourbon, I have some good stuff.
Let's do it.
Let me get you set up here. Hand me a glass over there. But we do a really good job of Thomas brings like side A and I bring side B. He's like ultimate peace and loving.
I can see that for sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I'll kill you for $1. You know what I mean? But I have like the more. But then also like he didn't get the COVID shot. I did. Like so, a lot of shit that we do is like very night and day. Hence the name, The Days Grimm. It's dark and light. So we bring a very 50-50
spiel to it. But so we got to talk about spatchcocking your chickens.
Spatchcocking. Yes, I saw that you've been
that
getting
sounds
into
hot.
that. You've been smoking meats and stuff
Oh
also.
yeah, man, like crazy. And you're big. You like cooking and your meats and stuff. But like,
Yeah, man.
I think actually you were one of the first people that put me on to the spatchcock.
Did I really?
I'm pretty sure.
Can
So
somebody
that's-
explain this so I know what we're talking about?
So you take a chicken, you cut the spine out, and then you break like
or the
sternum, I
breastbone.
guess.
I cut the breastbone.
Oh, so it's
Oh,
like
really?
butterflying it.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How
And
does
you just
Drew
So-
know what we're talking
Because
about?
Drew
I
works in the
Googled it.
kitchen. Oh.
I know what like butterflying is. I had never heard spatchcock. That sounds like some crazy shit you do in bed.
Yeah, it's like a thing.
Sounds kind of
It's a
hot.
thing.
Sounds kind of hot.
It does kind of sound hot.
But I feel like when
I'm
you,
in.
You
Into
ever,
it.
you ever feel like you want to get spatchcocked?
I'm
You just
into
want
it.
someone to come
yeah,
up to
when
you.
somebody hits me in the nuts.
Oh my
Spatchcock me.
My wife stepped on my son's balls the other day. She says she stepped on him, and I don't think she understood what, like, grasped the reality of what she did. Because, like, so he's 4, right? So he's 4, and you're dealing with, like, teaching him everything, you know, anatomy and all that. And you're like, hey, like, these are, you know, nobody else touches these kind of thing. So putting him in his car seat and shit like that, and he'll be like, oh, you hurt my balls. And you're just like, God, like, this is fun. You know, being a boy dad's fun, especially with 2 of them. But yeah, she said he was sitting on the floor and she stumbled, stepped on his fucking balls. And I'm like, do you even fucking realize what you did?
How do you react?
Fucking cried?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think I think it was the first time he ever got hit in the nuts. And it's like, I wasn't even there to guide him through the process.
Right.
You know what I mean?
If he gets older and gets a dominatrix, you got to sit down and have a talk with her.
Have you seen those? Can you show those videos? Can we show those?
Whatever you want. I'll show whatever you want. It's whether
I don't even know what you would Google. I've got a buddy I could ask, but
it's whether we
we've all got
show
a buddy.
it on the episode. So this isn't live.
Oh
So
my
like
God.
we can look up some porn. I don't care. It doesn't
you pulled
matter.
that up quick.
Yeah. This is his
Bro,
go-to
is
site.
this like your search history? You knew exactly where to go. Bro, what is this?
Look at the GIMP. Look at the GIMP with the lady on the couch. That's hot, dude.
I've got a buddy that's into that, supposedly.
That seems terrifying.
What?
I met that guy.
Shout out to Zach. Shout out, Zach.
I used to ride the bus in middle school. There was this dude who was like a year older than me. He would wear like a GIMP mask with like zippers and shit.
That was
He would wear
probably
it to school.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So what are you considered like Gen Z? Well, I'm right there, man. I'm like a millennial, but I'm right there.
We're in the millennial ballpark.
Yeah.
Gen Z has been basically, if you were born in the cell phone's already been like you basically like we still knew like dial up. We still knew.
I believe
board
the
for cell phones.
technical like start of Gen Z is like 98.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're out.
Can you imagine
But then
growing
there's
up and
also,
going to
like,
school with a kid that
Gen
once put on a
Z-
gimp suit mask?
a lot of people think of it as like born with an iPad, like
Right, which
fucking-
that's like nowadays.
I don't really fall into that.
It's our
but-
generation still had pagers. We went from pagers to cell phones.
I'd say.
My fucking childhood was like fucking Shania Twain in a Buick Regal
yes,
86 on a
yes.
cassette player.
Well, that's
Yes.
Poseyville.
You know what
That's
I mean?
Posey County.
Posey County, dude. Know your fucking role, dude. Posey County is the only small town that I will give respect to and also shit on at the same
So
time.
what
Yeah.
led you to get goats?
And what kind of goats do you have?
I have no idea. Dude,
they get
horny
out a
goats.
lot?
Horny goats. No, because I built this fence for like cattle. I didn't realize I made this overkilled fence, but I mean, it's like I would
Goats get out
do
all
the
the
same.
time.
Yes, they say if water can get through a fence, a goat can get through a fence.
Dude, my dad had a goat when we were little. He lived off of like close to Wrights and had a goat in the backyard, and it would get out once a week, like climb the chain link fence.
For sure. Yeah.
They're wild. Have you seen the pictures of goats like climbing sheer rock face?
Oh yeah, dude.
But what makes you decide you want to go?
So when I don't even want to eat them, kind of thing. Maybe eventually or something, but like these are more of a hobby. You know, they say like if you're wanting to do the homesteading thing, I mean, obviously, let's go buy 10 acres and a house and all this stuff. And it's like you can't do it overnight. So it's like learn the hobbies now. So like we butchered those chickens. We got these goats, just kind of like learning how to sustain having a goat. Like they require hay, they require a water source, you know.
Downside when you chop these chickens' heads off, you just let them run.
No, dude,
Because you were like, I'm finding chickens everywhere.
It was rough, man. Like I've deer hunted and stuff like that, right? You know, and I'm not religious at all, but it's one of those things like you take this life and I always like thank it. It's kind of cheesy, but it's like one of those
That's
things
what
you're
like
like,
the hunters teach you.
yeah, you're just kind of like, damn, dude. Like, I mean, this thing has been walking around for like 3-4
weeks.
years, maybe. Yeah, no, like these deer, you know, and you're like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm the one that ended its life, but it's like, I hope I get a lot of use out of it.
See, I'm the opposite, man. I'm all about like, fuck this deer, dude. Let's look up.
Karma's a bitch.
I just, real quick, fun fact. Let's just do this as a science experiment. We'll let Drew head the charge. Let's look up statistically what is the average damage a deer will cause.
Oh, a lot.
Like,
To you?
And you can look this up in a deer's life singularly. You can look this up on a nationwide average. I don't care how you look it up, but let's look up just how much damage a deer does annually. Because honestly, that's a creature that fucking needs to die. It's a tool of the devil. Listen, Hitting a deer or similar sized animals at 50 to 60 miles an hour rate of speed will surely damage the front end of a vehicle. Typically, there will be multiple punctures in the radiator and a possible engine coolant leak. Aside from these, you can also expect to have blah, blah, blah. I wonder how much they cause annually, like the dollar amount, because it's something stupid.
Well, are you talking just car crashes, or are you talking like
cars, crops,
So this
fences,
one
houses?
says, about 1.5 million deer car accidents happen every year. More than $1 billion in annual insured losses are due to damages caused by deer car accidents. And they cause about 175 to 200 fatalities and 10,000
So that's just
injuries
cars. That's
annually.
not crops.
Hey,
I blame humans.
hey, Taliban who? Kill these fucking deer, dude. Taliban fucking who? Never heard of her. Kill these fucking deer. Kill them.
This guy.
And I'll eat them, dude.
Yeah,
I fucking
deer's
love
good.
venison.
You're not gonna eat them if they're all gone.
So, but like, so my
That's
family
true.
has goats, right? And
Who
they-
does? Your family?
Yeah, and they sell the goat kids, and they use the milk, but they don't eat them.
Dude, so that was like part of the fun learning process. So we come home, my neighbors text me and they're like, hey, we saw that you have a baby goat. And I'm like, do what? They're like, yeah, there's this baby goat. It's adorable. And I'm like, okay, I'm on my way home from work. I'll deal with it then. So I get out there. I didn't even realize my goat was pregnant. It makes sense because the male goat's like by far the horniest creature I've ever seen.
Really?
You've never even seen him, have you, Thomas?
No, I haven't.
Just
Oh my
hard
God.
all the time.
Not all the time. It's like a come and go
Does he
kind of
buck
thing.
you when you go in there?
Yeah, like he'll beat your ass. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things. I make like a little lasso. Like you got to like tie him to a tree. It's awful.
How heavy is a male goat? Full grown.
40 pounds.
I don't know, man. This one's strong.
It can hurt though.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
because
dude.
their heads hard.
Because like he'll
You
just
turn
hit
your back.
you. You turn your back, he'll take you out from behind
Can
and then mount you.
do you think he can kill you?
No, I could take him. I've had to throw him on the
I
ground
like
before.
that confidence. He was like, "No fucking way! I'm gonna snap that goat."
I heard you guys ask, what was it, Rezo? You were like 100.
Regzo, yeah, for
Yeah, so
5 episodes ago.
one duck-sized horse or 100 horse-sized ducks.
Yeah. Are you asking me?
Or 100 duck-sized horses. Yeah, which
Are you
we
asking
are.
me? 100 duck-sized horses. I think I could get to about 27, kicking them in the ribs, get 27 out. So then what's that like? 73 chasing you?
Yeah.
Are they as fast as
Yeah.
a normal
all
horse? Like,
characteristics,
No.
but miniature.
well, like,
Well, yeah, but
Size
you also have
comparison.
to think about the size. So, like, they're not going to be running the speed of a full-size horse. They're going to
Exactly.
be running the speed at which a horse that
Their
size
stride
can run.
length.
yeah.
at
So I
that.
mean,
So, like,
they could be like Chihuahuas.
maybe,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Small, but like super fast and
They're going
agile.
to be dog speed.
Yeah, they'll at least be as fast as like a Labrador.
Can I have any weapons to
No
help me?
weapons.
I mean, give me something to make it more fun.
Steel-toed
like a
boots.
golf club.
Like a Tesla flamethrower. How many do you think you could take out with one tank?
Oh, you take them all out in one.
Yeah,
with a
tank,
flamethrower, you
just
think so?
run 'em over.
Yeah.
No,
Pretty
not
good.
like a tank. Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be some good food. And just put
Horse
them on
meat?
sticks. Oh yeah, they do it a lot in like Japan and Europe.
Oh, they do it on the north side too at that Mexican restaurant.
What?
Yeah.
Reference episode,
I don't know.
Mr. Kelly.
Yeah, Mike Kennedy's.
Kennedy, not Kelly.
Yeah.
Kennedy. Yeah, there was a Mexican restaurant that got shut down for selling drugs, and then whenever they found the drugs, they also found a horse head in the back of the kitchen.
So basically, you get homestead stuff going, but you're borrowing a buddy's trailer for a period of time and your
Yeah.
truck, and you're hauling gravel basically.
Yeah. So, what was it like during COVID? And it was one of those things. I've always wanted like a little compact tractor, the homestead idea and stuff. I have the ability to like a tree falls in your yard, you can pick that up and move it. You know what I mean? You're not dependent
Like
on
a small
calling some
diesel.
dude that's going to be like, oh, that's $1,600. You're like, I don't have $1,600. But so I buy this little tractor and I'm like, well, maybe I can do a little bit of work to pay for it.
What'd you get?
Just a little John Deere 3025. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent towards it.
New
but-
Holland and Ford. That's the way to go.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
swear to you. I swear.
I mean,
to you.
I have nothing to base it off of. You know what I mean? It's like
I've
you're-
driven a couple.
Yeah.
I've driven a couple, and definitely New Holland. I drove a Ford, but they're the same. Ford. tits.
Yeah.
Tits. Yeah.
So
tits.
you basically start picking up some side jobs to help
Yeah,
pay
so,
this
like,
thing off early.
So now
thinking
you're
I could
the
do-
asshole.
Yeah, so now I'm
That'd
the
be
guy. People are like,
$500.
I need my gravel regraded, and I'm like, I could definitely do that, not knowing what I was doing at all. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, for sure, I could do that.
Yes.
And it actually ended up going a lot better than I did. And I did concrete in my early 20s. So, I mean, it's like very quickly got sucked back into the concrete world. And yeah, I mean, that led to everybody else just needing driveways or sidewalks or patios. And like, so now we are on our 3rd year, and concrete is like the one thing that we actually offer. And it's fun. You know what I mean? Like,
And you're taking your boy with you.
yeah, I mean, I take everybody. Like, I've got my wife out there with a grade rod, and we're like shooting grade, and my 4-month-old is out there in the middle of the yard, and Oliver's swinging on the neighbor's swing set. Like, people love them. They love to see someone out there with their kids and like
Right.
trying to, you
It's
know,
fucking awesome, dude.
And like, I guess, so like this last post that's up kind of on the screen, you basically, so you pour all this concrete, and then why do people want those lines cut in it?
the what?
The lines cut in the concrete? Like,
So you do that. Those are called control joints, because the thing you can guarantee with concrete is no one's going to steal it, and it's going to crack. And so like it will always crack. So you put those lines in it to try and control where it cracks. So if you can do that, then you don't see that crack that looks like shit going across your driveway or anything like
Now,
that.
what causes concrete to crack? Just the
So
earth
it's a
giving?
chemical reaction. Whenever you pour concrete, it's a chemical reaction to cause it to harden up.
Mm-hmm.
So heat, expansion, contraction, stuff like that. You know, if you don't have like a proper subgrade underneath it, and you've got like a void. And
What
you
does
try
that mean? Subgrade.
Subgrade is whatever's below the top of your concrete, kind of thing.
like a lot of people put gravel in first and then pour it on
Yeah.
top.
Compact that. Make sure you don't have like a void, and then you're trying to drive a car over it.
Are you dropping a lot of like? I've seen a lot of people. I've poured concrete one time and it did not go well, but we used we just threw some like chunks of rebar in the pit or whatever that we were going to pour on. Is that something that's like standard practice? Like,
I don't think just throwing rebar in is standard practice, but it's one of those things. Rebar will give it more structural integrity. So like if you've got you're parking an RV on it, yeah, you might want to throw some rebar in there.
I was parking a 99 Grand Am on it, so
yeah, probably gonna need some rebar in that now.
it's a heavy bitch. You know, I was toting some weight.
But now you've upgraded from like borrowing a trailer to having your own trailer to equipment to probably like the wet saw to cut the concrete.
Yeah, so that's the hard part is like I've got no capital. It's not like my dad's been doing this, you know, for 30 years and I'm walking into it. It's a young guy trying to start something out of nothing kind of thing, you know. And I think it's fun. I think it sucks. It's super stressful, you know what I mean? But it's like it's worth it for sure.
And you did mention your dad, like you didn't walk into this. It wasn't so like this is your company. This is your project.
Yeah,
like,
and it's cool because
you don't have
people
like a co-owner or helper or something.
No, this is like just kind of what I've been able to create. And people will say, "So are you like the son of Tedford and Sons?" I'm like, "No, that's my 4-year-old." They're like, "Oh." And I'm like, and my 4-month-old. And then I bring them both out, and they're just like, "This is adorable."
Yeah, you can charge me whatever you want.
Yeah, you're
Just let
like,
me
all
hold
right,
that
now
kid.
pay me. Yeah,
Just don't touch his eye right now. You might get pink eye.
yeah.
Yeah, he's got worms. Did we decipher? Okay, they have pink eye currently.
Yeah.
I did want to bring this up. And then you don't have to give any details because they're your children. But a buddy of mine, his kids got pink eye not too long ago. Actually, this was like 2 years ago. But we talked about it on the show, and it was fucking
I
disgusting.
thought you said his kid got worms.
Yeah, well, he got pink eye first. Is
What
how it
kind
started.
of worms?
Well, he had worms crawling out of his beehole.
What?
Yeah,
Like
buddy.
a fucking dog?
Yeah, buddy. Same.
Probably playing in
What?
the yard, ate some dog poop, got some worms.
They say the way that it happens is they'll like get fecal matter on their hand or something, and then they put said hand into their mouth. So that introduces the wrong bacteria. That bacteria is supposed to exit. Well, that bacteria being reintroduced into the system for whatever reason, once it hits the stomach and the intestines, it harbors life. And
Have you seen that video
it
where
winds
that
up being-
lady's
it
talking
winds-
about how
Fuck.
she no longer gets strep throat because she stopped eating her own shit?
Oh, I did see that. Yeah. God, it's disgusting. But yeah, so your kids can get worms if they're not like careful with their hands. So just
Christ.
watch out, dude.
So what do you think some of the biggest things you've learned in the last 3 years with Tedford and Sons?
Biggest things I've learned. Everything. Business, personal life, anything. Everything is nothing but problems and finding solutions to those problems. And the sooner you can realize that, the sooner you can more easily navigate life.
That's actually a
That
really
makes
good way,
sense.
that's a really good way to put it. Everything is a
Problem
A challenge.
Yeah, everything's an equation, and you just have to fill out the other side of the equation. That's actually a really good way to look at life in general. What do you think? What do you think about strip clubs?
Strip clubs.
Yeah.
I've had fond memories in strip clubs.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago with Space Monkey, and I kind of just interjected it like I did that last time, just because I think it's a fun thought to bring up. You do like strip clubs or no?
Do I?
Yeah.
Not anymore. I'm married. I'll throw it around to my wife every now and then. I'm like, oh, we got no kids tonight. We should hit up the strip club. She's like, why?
Does she ever want to go?
Never.
No.
Never.
Damn.
I'm like, come on, it could be fun.
It's the opposite in my house, dude. Kristen is like legit. She'll go to one.
Really?
My wife, she's like into it. She's like, yeah, these bitches are hot. And I was like, and then I'm the one that's like, yeah, but we're gonna have to spend money, and then we're gonna have to drop ones.
See, like strip club is one thing. I feel like going to a sex store, that makes sense.
That's
more
dope.
than like a strip club.
How do you feel about seeing those charges on your bank statement? You know, like 3 weeks down the road, you're like, God, how am I going to pay these bills? And then you're going through your statement, and you see like Exotica or like Gentleman's Club, and you're like, I remember that, pulling out that $30.
Yeah, that was a mistake. No, sex shops are legit. Looking for a.
Remember that dildo I bought in Florida that was like a forearm and we'd throw it around the parking lot?
I don't remember that. What parking lot are you throwing that around?
Walmart.
The old Walmart.
parking lot?
We were throwing it from like car to car.
We had a, speaking of dildos in Afghanistan, somebody was kind enough to have one shipped to us.
Nice.
Somebody had written a letter to a family member back home and said, send me the biggest, floppiest dick you can buy.
Like a community dildo.
It was comically large and black and veiny and just...
Pull that up, Drew.
No, but dude, yeah, and then I think we talked about it with one of the guys that I deployed with, but we would like sneak it around with different soldiers, and they would just like go through their shit and find a big black cock, and they're like, God damn it.
Dude, so I told you I was like doing the whole Marine Corps thing in high school. I never served. Let me throw that out there. But so we were doing that, and the buddies that were able to go in, they're still some of my best friends. You know what I mean? It's like we've got this, I don't want to say bond, but I mean, we do.
Yeah.
And I went to Camp Lejeune for Easter weekend. I didn't even realize it was Easter weekend like years ago. And let me tell you, they can party. Dude, that was like by far the hardest weekend I ever had.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God.
You need to get with me in infantry mode, and I will fucking scare you.
Yeah.
I'll come.
I mean,
I want to come. I'm all about that.
We can play some Onward and then sit around and drink after.
Trade war stories.
Yeah.
So okay, so you've got the little ones on the job, and then you're saying the most creative thing or the most interesting thing you've learned throughout this process is everything is just an equation, and you just have to learn how to solve it. What is one of the biggest problems, I guess, that you've run into where you were like, damn, it was a tough situation? Like, what's the hardest problem you've had to solve through this? You know what I mean?
So, you know, there's not enough people going back into the trade industries kind of thing. So like they need people that are interested in wanting to learn this, wanting to start companies, wanting to keep going. And I work a day job still, and I'm almost at that point. Yeah. I'm almost at that point where it's like, it's costing me money to work this day job and then spend every waking moment.
What do you think? Like missing out on jobs because you're busy elsewhere?
Kind of. I mean, it's like, you know, the rock yard's only open from, 7 to 4. So it's like I leave work at 2:30. I can get like one load of rock. Whereas if I had Monday, I could have my kid in the back. We could stop by the gas station, get a chocolate milk. Like those are the days that
for
I
you,
love.
not for him.
Yeah. He always gets that like cinnamon toast crunch milk, that nasty shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Fuck piece. No, I'm joking. Yeah, it's disgusting though. I've had it. The cinnamon toast.
He'll get the
crunch
Fruit
milk.
Loops. Ugh.
Gross. But so it's missing out on jobs, you think, is what's costing you money?
Yeah.
So
and I mean,
how do you navigate that problem?
Fucking do it. You know what I mean?
Do you bite personal time at your 9 to 5 sometimes where you're like,
no.
I'm going to take 10 hours of vacation and go?
Well, that's what sucks about the day job. You've got someone saying that you only have 2 weeks vacation. You only have, and I get it. I mean, you need people to be coming into work, but at the same time, you're just like the freedom that you feel from being your own boss. It is so addicting.
So there's somewhere out there's a good rule of thumb about like when you're working these 2 gigs, we call it like the jumping off point or whatever on the show. But like, I think we looked it up once, and there's a rule of thumb to like, okay, you need to make X amount of money before you can quit your 9 to 5 and then do this full time. Do you have that bar set yet?
No. No, I think Thomas recommended the Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki,
something like that.
You recommended that book, and
Kiyosaki?
Kiyosaki.
It's Robert something, but yeah, it's a Chinese dude.
Okay. And he has like a good rule of thumb of when to
Yeah,
quit
most people give the kids the book like high school, college range when they like get out and they start like it teaches you like how to be smart with your money, like how you should invest, like what you should set up to get out of the rat race.
Interesting. So that might be a fun thought experiment for you to like, hey, go home and talk to your wife and be like, hey, if we make this much next year, I'm quitting my fucking job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like set that bar.
I think we're at the point, we're trying to get her through nursing school. We're at that point where it's like, if we don't quit like now, we're not going to be able to survive the winter. So we might have to wait one more winter of me working this day job, saving up some money, getting some stuff
and
paid
that
off.
stuff's kind of hard because like you can't necessarily do concrete when it's freezing outside.
You can, but I'm not going to. I'm not there yet. Like,
And then a good thing is that she's going to nursing school. So hats off to her. My wife just graduated and she just got her RN.
Oh, that's exciting.
But yeah, they make bank. So that will definitely lighten the load some. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And that's what we're looking forward to is having the ability to, pay the mortgage and then still be able to like go spend 2 weeks at someone's house building this epic project. Because it's super rewarding, like that last post that I posted up. You see what they were dealing with before for like 20 years. They had a dirt pad outside their door. Couldn't even use it. Yeah. And I just ripped it all out. They got this awesome, huge 48-foot patio. It's cool.
I had a dirt pad that I played in whenever I lived in my trailer.
I think everybody in Posey County had a dirt pile.
Yeah. And look, I turned out fine. So there's nothing wrong with a dirt pad, guys. But if you want some high quality concrete, this is the guy. I'm just saying.
Yep.
What do you think
about aliens?
Oh, shit. You know much about aliens? Do you believe in aliens?
Dude, for
you
sure.
You said you were excited for
to.
something that's...
Have you been seeing this David Grush, the interviews and stuff?
Who's that?
So it's this high-ranking Air Force officer. So in like 2022, Biden did this bill or whatever, and it says that any whistleblowers that have knowledge of like the UFOs, UAPs they're called now.
Yeah.
And it protects these whistleblowers to where if they come out and they're like, hey, this is going on, they won't go to prison or whatever. So this guy navigated the Department of Defense and they said, yes, you can go talk about this. You can't talk about that. You can go talk about this. So he came out and was pretty much like, okay, the United States government is in possession of like 12 alien aircraft of non-human origin. And so there's like an interview tonight where it's like the full interview or something like that.
You're talking about tonight.
Tonight at like 8 o'clock.
Have you... Okay, so the most recent thing I saw, I didn't hear about this. What's his name?
That guy's name's like David Grush.
Can we find out where we can watch that at?
Supposedly he's a credible source. I'm just on Reddit, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is like super legit. It's one of those things like they're testifying to Congress, but yeah, right there, man.
So it looks like, can you watch it on YouTube? Oh, probably going to blow our eardrums out.
It's that like News Nation or something like that.
So the most recent thing that I saw was a gentleman had called the police.
Oh, in Las Vegas.
In Vegas, and he said there's some dudes out here, and they are 7 feet tall with tiny mouths. Or no, he said they had big mouths and big eyes.
Yeah.
And they're in my backyard. And the police are like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he said, get the fuck over here right now.
Yeah.
So then the two police officers that responded to the call, did you hear about this? The two police officers that responded to the call, they get there 20 minutes later or whatever, 10 minutes later. And as they're getting there, the guy's like running out frantically. He's like, oh my God, you just missed. And then there's body cam footage of a speck in the sky that just zips off. Like it was stationary.
I don't even think it's a speck. I mean, it looks like a giant meteor is taking off.
But it's stationary and then it's gone, like laser beam gone. And they saw that on his chest cam or whatever. And this guy was like legit head to toe, like concerned. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the most recent one that I've saw, but I didn't hear about this guy, the David Grush.
So that's what's kind of interesting is like, so this is going on, but I tried to Google it and like YouTube pulls up and it's all this stuff trying to like discredit him. And you're like, of course you would be. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But supposedly there's like 24 whistleblowers that are like going to come out and they're like, yes, like we have bodies, we have UFOs.
Where are you going to watch it at? How can we watch it? Do you know?
I think you can get like register YouTube TV or whatever, like free trial or whatever.
Oh, and it'll be on there, you think?
I think so.
Interview. Yeah, it's saying it looks like the results below are changing quickly. I bet they are.
But I mean, you're talking about a program that's like so secretive, the president doesn't know about it, and the what these Congress and these whistleblowers are saying is that it's unethical that the United States government has knowledge of this and they're not telling us.
And withholds it. Yeah, that's insane. It's just like that one guy, the famous guy that's been on Rogan, who's like worked on them. Do you happen to remember his name?
No, he was he said he was assigned to try to reverse.
You talking about Bob Lazar?
Yeah, Lazar. Bob Lazar, he's only done, that's his most public interview was with Joe Rogan.
Really?
That's the most public interview he's done with that much detail. And I think they went for like 3 hours or something.
They even cut parts out of the interview.
Yeah, but like he has an extreme amount of knowledge about some of these highly secretive cave places that the government are using out in the desert and like shit that nobody should know.
Yeah.
And then he's just explaining it like you're there and he's 100% valid and correct. And then he gets to the alien shit and you're like, there's no fucking way. But like his story has never fucking changed. It's always been the same. It's crazy.
I mean, this David Grush dude.
Oh, there it is.
He was a U.S. Air Force officer, a National Geospatial Intelligence. He worked for the NGA, I guess, and worked for the National Reconnaissance Office. So kind of seems like he's credible.
Seems legit. I mean, anybody would say anything to get any kind of publicity. I get that. I don't know. I'd be interested to see what he has to say. But that's the cool thing about Lazar is that he does not want the publicity. He doesn't go out of the way to do those interviews. Like Rogan had to reach out to him multiple times. And they had to navigate multiple different channels to like even make that 3-hour interview happen. And then like Thomas just said, they had to pull a bunch of shit out. It's wild. Yeah. And you hear about these guys all the time that are like suspiciously dying once they're like blowing the whistle. Before they can blow the whistle, they fucking die. It's like, oh, he choked on a fucking glass of fucking wine. I doubt it. You know what I mean? Like arsenic, that, or some crazy poison is what I think. But
yeah,
it's wild, dude.
There's a lot of people coming out. I think it's interesting. I mean, can you imagine if in our lifetime, like we get the 100%, like, yes, we're not alone.
How long do you think it would take if it's confirmed 100% aliens are real, they show up on Earth? How long do you think it would take before someone fucks one?
Not long at all.
Oh, dude.
I'm pretty sure it's already happened.
Less than a day?
Get fucked or do the fucking?
Both.
Ooh.
Pitching or catching?
Pitching or
The people have probably already caught.
first 48 hours.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I think they're already here. I heard a really good quote, and this is probably like the third time I've said it on the show, but since you're into aliens, I'll tell you. Whenever we as humans observe deep sea creatures that are like extremely skittish, like this example is the octopi or the octopus, the way that oceanographers will study them is they will set up a camera inside of something that disguises itself as like a rock or a coral or something, because octopi are very intelligent. So when they see that rock or that coral, they're not spooked. So essentially, it's like they don't even know that they're being observed. And they're a very smart creature on the same scale as like the dolphin. But however, we're sitting here looking at them and observing rituals that they do that they have no idea they're being observed while they're doing. So my thought or in this same example, they said, if aliens were here, we would be the octopus.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
Think about it. If they've made it here, we're the octopus.
Yeah. And like the fact that there is trillions of planets and galaxies, and like, first of all, people think that humans and like Earth is the only planet.
This is not as good as it gets. This is not as good as it gets.
Like, just scientifically,
fucking nope.
Not fucking possible.
No,
no way.
Big nope.
And second, like, in the grand scheme of things, humans are fucking idiots.
Oh,
like,
true. We're just apes.
That checks out.
Yeah.
You're talking to one. Dude, I don't know, man. I think aliens they're already here. Honestly, if you want my true opinion, I really think they've been here. I think.
Well, that's the theory. Is they're not necessarily extraterrestrial; they're ultra-terrestrial. They've always been here.
Maybe, yeah, intraterrestrial. That'd be a neat thought. They just like ocean dwellers, and they came out from the fucking.
Can you imagine if they're the reason volcanoes go off? They're like in our Earth, and they're like, "Yep, we need to relieve some pressure. We're going to take out Hawaii."
And fucking Egypt. Come on, dude.
Yeah. Oh, like the pyramids and stuff? Yeah, like...
Come on,
what's up
dude.
with that?
There's no way. They're perfectly triangulated.
What if the pyramids were just their version of Donald Trump coming in saying we're going to build the biggest, best pyramid?
Just the
It's
one,
probably the biggest one ever. Probably the best one ever.
the most conceited alien that
Oh my
ever
God.
existed. He was like, "Yeah, that's the biggest fucking rock
We're
on
over
that
here
planet."
thinking that they were like doing it for a reason, but they
Or,
just had
like,
some douchebag president.
They had like mask, like how we have Halloween mask, and like that's like the whole Egyptian religion was like a bunch of aliens with these
Just a
bird
giant
hats
Day of the
on. You know
Dead.
what I mean?
I'm telling you, dude, there's some really compelling shit out there. If you think fucking dudes built those pyramids and they built them in 200 years, you're high on fucking. You're high.
Everything.
You're high. I don't think people understand the grand scale. They are still the Great Pyramid of Giza is still like the 20th tallest thing on Earth, man-made thing on Earth.
What?
I think it's still like the 20th tallest thing.
It's like 481 feet tall, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's
Rogan
not the
pulled me into
20th
that,
tallest
too.
thing. I'm full of shit. But it's when you see it in person, like 400 feet, dude. That's huge.
Have you ever heard Graham Hancock talk on Rogan? Oh, dude. If you're into pyramids and stuff, that
That's
guy
the guy that
explains.
talks about like ancient places, like where Atlantis possibly was and stuff. Is that
So
the
he
same?
talks about the pyramids, and he says that like the perimeter of the pyramid times this equation or whatever, it gives you the circumference of the Earth. It is aligned to true north within like 1/60th of a degree.
I have heard that
That kind of stuff.
The way that they're triangulated is significant to the.
God bless you.
Thank you. Significant to the parameters of the Earth. Like I have heard that. And another fun fact about pyramids that a lot of people don't know is they're on every single goddamn continent.
Yes.
And no one fucking realizes that. They're in
Yep.
South America, they're in Africa, they're in Asia, they're in Russia, they're in North America, they're fucking everywhere. And they're finding them hundreds of feet below surface.
Really?
Yeah, like below soil. You'll see a tiny little thing peeking out, and then they've done sonar like reconnaissance or however they like see into the ground. They've like gone into the ground to see what that peak leads to, and it's a giant fucking pyramid. And we have them here in North America, like in America, we have them. And they're saying that they were built by North American or indigenous people or whatever. But I'm like, no, below that
Aliens.
much soil, dude. Aliens, dude. Aliens
Well,
every
they
time.
They weren't built underground. They were just
I know,
covered.
but over time they like weather. But I'm just saying, like that fucking long ago for it to weather
Yeah.
200, 300, 400 feet, like, bro, that's a long fucking time ago. It's a long fucking time ago.
You think about that when they're like, this dinosaur was here 600 million years ago or 630 million years ago. The difference between 630 and 635 million years ago is still 5 million years.
It's drastic.
It's still 5 million years.
It's drastic. It's weird when you think about timelines like that. Whenever they're like, yeah, these were around 631 million years ago, and
Yeah.
this was around 632 million years ago. It's like, oh yeah, they
That's
were like,
still a million years.
yeah, it's still a long ass time, bro.
and the humans have existed for like a fraction of a percent. Of
6,000
God.
years or something. 6,000 years.
This is the estimate, yeah.
10,000 years at max. 10,000
I
years
think
at
it's like
max. We've
something
been
like that.
we've been walking around fucking
looking,
each
yeah.
other in the butt. You know what I mean?
Just
It's wild
every day.
shit. Do you think that anal was big back then?
It had to have been.
Yeah.
Think
Had
so?
to have been. You don't think? I mean, we're
I don't
talking a
think-
million
I
year
know,
timeline.
like definitively, yeah,
Oh, without a question?
yeah.
You don't think
I don't
anybody's
have
ever
any
questioned
facts to
that?
back that up, but yes.
I'm fucking digging your confidence today, dude. I'm on top of your shit, and I'm
I
loving
mean,
it, Drew.
Like ancient Romans and Egyptians, there's like paintings of them just fucking
Oh,
and like
yeah.
doing anal and having gay sex.
yeah, that's hot
and-
for me. I don't know where you guys are
Yeah.
at.
What if
but-
that was just like a sex shop? The pyramids were just a giant sex shop. You
Yeah.
come in, you can pay to look at the walls. Hey, I drew this earlier.
Yeah.
This out.
We thought
It's like
that
a middle school desk.
we thought it was a pacifier the whole time. It was an ancient Egyptian butt plug.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Some
one of those group theaters.
Some guy had it in his mouth too. I was like, oh, dude, that's fucking.
So was there ever a moment like on this journey where like you wanted to throw in the towel and like, or like a dark moment, and you don't have to go into the moment itself, but like we more so care about like what pulled you out of that
Yeah,
moment.
starting the company.
Yeah, man. So, I think more just talking about life and stuff. I mean, you know, like I said, in my early 20s, I mean, you know, I couldn't do the whole military thing. So you're kind of left trying to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life, who you are, what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a good several years there where at the time, you know, I mean, that's your whole life. I mean, that's all you're just in this pit. So I don't know, man. I really don't know. I think we need to look into a lot of that stuff. Mental health. I think we need to support people more. I think we need to, try and realize that we're all in the same, going through the same shit as everybody else. We're all stressed out. We're all dealing with the same economy. You know what I mean? So I think we all need to band together more.
And one thing that a lot of people would really bond over, I think, is that like soldiers are often attached to the term PTSD, or at least soldiers that have seen combat, I guess. But I feel like PTSD goes across the board. Like if you hear about PTSD with like victims and stuff, like that sticks with them for their whole fucking life. Like PTSD doesn't have to be with just a soldier, but then also we don't have to think about PTSD as like necessarily just a traumatic incident. I think just the general concept of like you have a dark something that is going to stick with you forever. I think that if we like more people would bond together if we like just got it out in the open and said like this is a dark thing that happened to me, and
it's super common.
We're
everybody.
They're all vastly different things that have happened to each human, but like they all affect us fucking equally.
Or like an in-person community, I think, is like nowadays, you got your social media community where like everybody stays in touch over social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you were just talking about, like your neighbors like seeing kids outside. You know what I mean? Like you're like a lot of people don't have those relations with their neighbors or like outside of the human being is not that mysterious of a creature. It's really strange how similar we all really are. But yeah, that's actually a good point. Like mental health should be taken more seriously. I think we need to dedicate an episode very soon. We need to get a mental health professional in here and really dedicate, because we've tried it before, but I really think we need to do like. We got a therapist that said they would come in.
We need to do that. We need to make that happen. So we're coming for you, dog. But no, man, I'm really, really intrigued by it's you doing this solo. You have
just you and your family,
Well, so we do that. And I mean, like whenever we do pour concrete, like I do hire out some concrete finishers. So it's not like I'm the only one, doing that, but I do like all the prep work. And so like I get to hang out with my family and like dig out this job. And then I just call these people.
Work, though.
Yeah.
The paperwork, the LLC, the whole officiating side of the business.
Logistics,
that's what I meant is that like you're doing this solo dolo.
And speaking about the BB gun back in the day, you still have a BB gun. You sit out on his back porch and he's got little targets set up and you just shoot them.
Used to be a drinking game. We'd sit there and hey, you need to shoot the left target, and if you miss, like you took a shot.
Ooh, I like
Elliot,
that.
Man, Elliot was always the guy that
I just saw him the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, he's a stud. God, I see him all the time. Actually, that means I go to Franklin too much.
Probably.
No, man, but I just meant that I'm genuinely. God bless you. I'm genuinely. It was like a religious pause. I'm genuinely impressed by the fact that you've done something.
You're chasing that American dream and that homestead dream.
And you're doing it by yourself. A lot of people will start a business with a partner, a co-pilot, if you will, and you and your wife are really just the ones holding it down, doing all the legwork. So that's impressive.
How many people do you trust?
That's impressive.
With half your money,
right?
Half of your time that you're investing,
half your heart, passion.
I trust you, dog. No, because we're an LLC. I don't want you to think there was like some weird romance going on here. Yeah.
Nice,
this is an official LLC. So, but anyways, so it's just really, really impressive that you're able to do that and get legs under this on your own.
And then last minute shout outs. Who's got you to where you're at? Who's keeping you going?
Oh, dude, Jack Duff. Right? Got to revisit Jack. Elliot helped me out, man. Starting out, we ran his dump trailer a lot. He'd be, bringing me rock and stuff like that.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
My wife, my kids with pink eye, shout out to them.
Worm free, in case anyone was wondering. All right,
worm free since 23.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess, or whenever they were born, or whatever the math is on that. And then anybody else, man, or if socials, how do people find you? Your company?
So we're on Facebook. If you're interested in any of our work and stuff, it's Tedford Sons LLC. We're on Facebook. That's our main platform, I guess, because everybody Facebooks nowadays. Other than that should be able to tell you any information if you guys are wanting any patios, driveways, sidewalks, that kind of stuff. Yeah, man, we'd appreciate any work.
Possible website in the future, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I said, I'm figuring it out day by day. Just kind of one foot in front of the other.
All right, man. We'll keep those legs moving, dude. Yeah, I'm just pumped that we got you in here, dude. Seriously, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
well, thank you very much.
Your story's it's definitely impressive that you're able to do this all essentially on your lonesome and your beautiful family, of course. So, this has been another thrilling episode of the Days Grimm, right?
Yeah.
My name is Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Grimm, and this has been Caleb Tedford.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tedford.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Crank it!